Good evening and welcome to Face for the Newsfirst team. I'm Niresh Thambi. Now, Sri Lanka is in a state of flux. We are trying to move our country forward. System change is the order of the day. That's what the public wanted and that's what they need to get. And system change means every system has to change, has to advance so that one day Sri Lanka can become a developed nation. And the health sector of our country must play a major role in the transformation of Sri Lanka to a modern society. And I'm very pleased to have with me in the studio this evening two individuals who are going to play a very key role along with their colleagues in the health sector, and I am referring to Dr. Surantha Perera, the President of the Sri Lanka Medical Association, and Dr. Asiri Hewamalage, who is the Honorary Secretary of the Sri Lanka Medical Association. Good evening and welcome to you both. Delighted to have you on the program.
Good evening.
First off, Dr. Surantha, tell us about this Congress that you are going to have, or you have started actually today, and what it entails, because it is an international medical congress and it is once again the focus of the country, at least for these few days, where the medical profession meets and compares notes and learns and basically upgrades its knowledge. Would you like to tell us a little bit about it?
First, I'd like to thank MTV Media inviting us for today's discussion, and thank you very much, Nilesh, for that kind introduction. I'm representing Sri Lanka Medical Association, which was started 1877 as a Ceylon branch of the British Medical Association. In 1952, it became the Ceylon Medical Association. In 1978, after the new constitution, it became the Sri Lanka Medical Association. So we have a prestigious history. We are the apex organization of all the other medical professional associations and colleges. We have currently 56 colleges. These are different from colleges what we hear from ordinary term. So the College of Cardiologists, Pulmonologists, Rheumatologists, all disciplines are represented under these themes, and we are the apex organization. So our this year session would be 130th anniversary. So one of the oldest in Asia, and it's a medical congress where we discuss about matters related to medicine, and it is international because the resource people come from different countries, so is some of the participants. And why we need such a congress is to, we know medicine is a rapidly changing subject, and to deliver the optimum care, we have to embrace new knowledge. Medicine is a science, mixture of science and art, so it has mixture of ethics also. So when we embrace new knowledge, what are the governing laws, principles we have to adhere, ethics, and how we communicate, lot of things comes. And this transformative change, all of us know the certain changes are very dramatic, like how we incorporate the artificial intelligence and digitalization of the medical records, and how we introduce one number, birth to tomb, and where all the medical records are recorded wherever you go, private hospital or government sector. So all these are challenging. It infuses a lot of dimensions. So in this context, we thought of having this congress. Traditionally we have it in the middle of the year, and traditional way when I architect it, I had track A and track B, addressing variety of topics, pulmonology, cardiology, and geriatric medicine, etc. But I introduce a new track 3 that is very important to discuss about. All of us know our last health policy was designed and implemented in 2015. Now a decade gone, new health policy is coming. When WHO talks about it, they talks about 6 domains. And we have added, as a leading advocacy group, 7th domain. It's very important for a country like us, the people, non-governmental organizations, different institutes, beyond the government domain, because we must give opportunity for them to incorporate their ideas to this new policy. And usually we name it as Health Policy 2025 to 2035. And this time we want a bit of a change, so that is a policy on health as well as the wellness, because wellness is a key domain now people talk about. If rather than talking about the negativity, we have to promote positivity, how we are going to be happy and how we lead our life in a very completed way. So those are very important things currently people address. So in this context, to disseminate new knowledge to healthcare workers, especially doctors, as well as promote certain thematic areas, capture the eye of the top officials of the ministries, very important. So we are going to use this opportunity. Now health, we know, is not just belong to Ministry of Health. There are many areas cross-cutting. One example, if you take human resource, there are a lot of problems happening, and then the training, so the postgraduate institute, higher education, and UN agencies, how they are having ideas about it, and government-to-government discussions, where we are losing our trained staff in the human resource aspect in the Ministry of Health. So that is the change is dramatic. We have to remember our country went through many problems, but we are surviving nation. We have a lot of resilience. I'm very thankful to our ordinary people, our masses, standing up for all the challenges. We went through COVID-19, then came the political instability, and ended up with economic downturn. And all of us know current issue is problem with our economy. It affects all the areas, including health. So in this context, having such a such an event is very important. We are not focusing on just cutting edge knowledge, upgrading. When we talk about knowledge, 3 domains are very important: knowledge, skills, and attitudes. We want to change those 3 pillars, the areas in every health worker, but we want to focus on the policies also. Those are matters in this background of what's happening in Sri Lanka in a larger scale. So I think as the president, I very can confidently say at the Apex organization, I will be our mine and our teams and our council and the past presidents. We have eminent past president members. All of us are putting an effort to deliver certain results out of this. At the end of this, most of these sessions, which happen with other colleges also, we have the sessions, and time we forget about what we talked about. So after each symposium, we are going to compile the concept paper, the extracts, the essence of it. We will compile into a book, and we are going to distribute among all the ministries, because how we use that, the outcomes of this deliberation for common good is very important. So this is what everything if you put into everything in a nutshell,
right,
which we can talk about.
Let me bring in Dr. Asiri to talk about some of these deliberations. I gather you're having 80 to 90 learned medical professionals who are going to be who are addressing the Congress, and that's an enormous amount of knowledge. So would you like to talk about some of these thematic areas?
Yeah. Thank you, Niresh. So, as Dr. Surantha said, Sri Lanka Medical Association is the apex medical professional organization in the country. So, most of the colleges, they only talk about particular discipline, like if it is College of Cardiologists, they talk about cardiology. and pulmonologists, they talk about pulmonology, but here we talk about almost all the disciplines, because this is a forum once a year where we give an opportunity to all our medical officers across the country to come to one place and improve their knowledge in whatever the discipline they would like to. So we have sessions in cardiology, we have sessions in pulmonology, we have sessions in rheumatology and in nephrology, and then we are talking about inventional research and how to do research and all these things. And so there are so many different disciplines, and we run parallel sessions. So it's not that everybody goes to all the sessions, but depending on your interest, where you want to pursue your career, as well as where you have to improve your knowledge, you can go into these different disciplines and learn about that. And also these sessions, as you said, we have about 80 resource people coming and talking who are the experts in their own disciplines. So they will be bringing out the latest evidence and the latest technology as well as latest knowledge. And this is the way we update our medical professionals, because as you all know now, medicine is a very fast evolving field. So what we learned 5 years ago is not what is being practiced now. So everything is changing. So it's imperative that our medical professionals are up to date in their knowledge. That's how we can serve best for the people. Right now, from what we learned 20 to 30 years back, we can't serve them now. Even because the context change, issues change, drugs change, and the way people look at disease also change. Everything changes. So this is one kind of a way that the medical fraternity is keeping their knowledge updated. So that's why we have such a large number of resource panel who are experts in their own fields. So they will be talking about their new knowledge. So that's why we have all these areas in addition to the policy area Dr. Surantha talked about. And also I would say at the same time, the problem we see as doctors in the field are also changing. The medical issues are changing, the mentality, the everything is changing, and the climate is also changing. So it is bringing out new challenges as well. So we are working in a changing context actually.
Right. So Dr. Surantha, let me get to some of these areas which you mentioned. Let's take for example digitalization, which of course our country is in the process of digitalizing. Every single government department, corporation, local government, they are all going to be basically accessible at the click of a mouse. But this also brings with it certain challenges. And for the medical profession especially, there are issues like the privacy of data, personal data, medical data, and so on. At the same time, there needs to be a sharing of knowledge digitally as well. So would you like to tell us a little bit about how the medical community is approaching this topic?
Yeah, very interesting question. As the slogan says, digitalization and achieving accessing everything in a click of a button looks easy, but it's very difficult task. Let's start from where we should start the digitalization. Birth to tomb, if we can have a one number, which we get as our identity card number, can be given at birth. So once it's given at birth, it can be accessed through all domains. So wherever we put number, it connected to finances, it connected to health records, everything. So it simplifies everything. But then the readiness of these institutes to connect for connecting and then come into this digitalization process is challenging. Then the infrastructure, manpower, and the skills, what is required. And okay, let's say we achieved everything, then software development will be another new challenge. But I'd like to highlight one of the key areas we are concerned. Medicine is entangled with a thing called ethics. So ethically, how should we conduct as professionals, as patients, as other intermediate people who work with us? Because data protection is very important. Data breaching is very significant. In another country it happens at once you will be fired. Are we ready for that? And this firing of a person or reprimanding is a sort of a age-old method. What we want is to people to understand themselves and separate right and wrong and have an ethical conduct. So this aspect is very important to put into the heads of the healthcare workers when we are talking about digital. Those are very, very personalized data we are handling. So this is very important. We have to move forward. And then, as I very correctly spelled out earlier, there are many areas we have to change, upgrade. So starting from the machines, the software, the user interfaces, and the people who are sort of a skilled labor we need for that expertise. Everything is important. I, like few years back, when I was the president of the Preventive Society of Sri Lanka, I went to UK to study. I was very interested in this digitalization process. They have a badger system, and the whole NHS system record data, and even like when we take X-ray, sometimes we are in the canteen, we can click on and get have a look at it on the go. We read these things. So it's done by one company, but it's huge. Their workforce is huge, very challenging. So the readiness of the Sri Lankan government, we can do it here and there. Yeah, but we have to look at positively. Health Ministry also done a good job up to now. Certain targets they have achieved, but more targets to be achieved later. So we have to be very mindful about the challenges. It is a necessary thing. It's happening, and we have to direct it in the correct course. And then we have to be conscious about, as I mentioned earlier, data security and especially ethics involved in it.
Right. So quite a lot of work needs to be done in this specialized area where digitalization is concerned. Dr. Asiri, you mentioned the education or the knowledge that medical professionals need to have, and that medicine basically is such a fast moving, fast developing arena of knowledge that you need to stay current. But at the same time, we in Sri Lanka, we have a very low ratio of medical professionals when you look at doctors to the population and so on. So how do we address all of this? Because again, we are looking at moving forward. So, we can't have the same ratio now, and 20 years from now, we need to get to that developed level. So at the same time, we have the brain drain, which all sectors are suffering from in Sri Lanka, but significantly, when you can train an accountant in a few years, but you can't train a surgeon in such a short period of time. So it especially hits hard where the medical professional is concerned. What are the answers, or how do you set about this?
Yeah, actually you asked a very, very pertinent question, which is actually a huge challenge, I would say, for the whole health system of the country at the moment, because we are very, very, very far behind in the doctor-patient ratio, the numbers. So it had definitely affected our quality of care, how much time we spent on one patient. So most of the time in certain places, our doctors have to just do crowd clearing. There are huge queues, and they just have to just look at the patients, provide quickly solutions, and they don't have enough time to give the necessary health education to the patients, get them on board with the solution. Now, in developed part of the countries, we are talking about patient-involved care, where we give the chance for the patient to take a decision about their condition, and they get involved in what kind of care they want. Actually, that's where we have to go. Not that doctor being the person with power who prescribes you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. It's actually, it has to be a discussion where the patient take responsibility about their own health. So that kind of care, providing that kind of care has become kind of a dream for us because of the issue we are facing with these doctor-patient ratios. So we are seeing a lot of problems now. Now as a country, we are giving a very good medical education for our doctors, and then our country is spending on our doctors for postgraduate education also for another 4 to 5 years. And also the government is spending for them to go abroad and train as well. But amidst all that, there are a lot of issues once they come and practice as a doctor in the country also. And without looking at solution for those issues, it's very difficult for us to retain the learned people in the country as well. So that we are having these discussions. Actually, we have a debate in our SLMA sessions whether it's ethical for our learned people to migrate, or what are the things that we have to do about that. We are having a debate in this session also in this 130th anniversary medical congress to bring out all these points and bring it to the policy area to discuss that. But at the same time, I think ministry is looking at solutions as well. So one of the solution would be how we can task shift certain activities. Now, do we need a doctor to do all this work? Can we kind of task shift certain activities to nursing professionals, counselors, other levels of care, and well-being comes in as a solution for this also. So don't our population have a responsibility to look after their health? So should we wait until we get sick and go to the hospital and wait in the OPD queue? So what are the other things that we can do to look after our well-being? So that's where the well-being agenda comes. So if you are taking care of your health, should the government incentivize those people?
Now, this is a very key area which I'd like to go into with both of you in more detail. But first, let's take a short commercial break. I am with Dr. Surantha Perera and Dr. Asiri Hewamalage. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
Chamatkara Ratriya, an enchanting night awaits. A tribute to timeless legends, a celebration of melodies that echo through generations. A heartfelt homage to two icons who defined the soundscape of a nation. Victor Ratnayaka and Priya Suryasena. Their songs shaped our stories. Their voices touched our souls.
Join us for a night of unforgettable performances by Nalin Perera, Samita Mudunkotua, Sanka Dinesh, Raini Charuka, Nadimal Perera, Lakshita Suryasena, Hirushi Suryasena,
Chamatkara Ratriya, where legends live again. Musical direction by the brilliant Mahesh Nenipitiya. Every note will carry the soul of a legend. Mark your calendars for the 2nd of August from 6:30 p.m. onwards at the Muses College Auditorium. Tickets via theticketsministry.com. Don't miss the most heart-touching musical event of the year. Chamatkara Ratriya.
Are you the one with a talent the world has never seen? A visionary genius pushing the boundary of skill. A fearless champion with an astonishing, daring ability. Or a master
Welcome back to Face. I am with Dr. Surantha Perera, President of the Sri Lanka Medical Association, and Dr. Asiri Hewamalage, who is the Honorary Secretary of the SLMA. Now, Dr. Surantha, let me ask you to broach this topic first, a very important one of preventive medicine. Because we in Sri Lanka, perhaps because we have a free healthcare system, we are so used to relying on our hospitals, our doctors, our nurses to save us. We don't really focus on staying healthy and having healthful habits in our daily lives. So we have a lot of non-communicable diseases which are affecting the population, and we also have a lot of negligence in the form of traffic accidents and so on, because after all, you can always just bundle a patient into a three-wheeler and send him or her off to the nearest hospital. Then it becomes the problem of the doctors and the nurses, but that is not the way it should be. So, Dr. Surantha, over to you to explain this culture, this change in our national culture that we need to implement.
Yeah, I think it's a very good suggestion, and this is what we are also promoting, whether we can prevent rather than treating a disease, whether we can prevent its happening. Certain disciplines also have developed. Now there is a thing called lifestyle medicine. It's a specialty. And here in our health policy, we are talking about wellness. I studied all these Japanese books, especially. This is one of the countries where a nation lives beyond 80 years. Around nearly more than 1 million people are closer to 100 years. Why? The reason is the way they look at their lives. So, if I put it for benefit of the listeners, I always advocate 5 areas. First, look after your mind. Be kind to your mind and look after your body. Right? And then whenever there are issues, address it then and there. Third thing is, we talk about diet control. So, look after your gut. What goes in, what goes out. Be conscious about it. The fourth thing is hypoxygenate your organs. Exercise is very important. And finally, have a positive vibe, the positiveness in your life. So that is very important. Those 5 things will keep you going beyond 70 or 80 years if your practices are good. When we talk about non-communicable diseases, the 5 diseases are very important. The most of the death happen in Sri Lanka due to that. Hypertension, stroke, diabetes, obstructive airway disease, and cancer. Those are the 5 domains. So preventive measures are the best rather than treating. The most of the health budget consumed for treating these illnesses and the outcomes. So we promote wellness. Wellness is having happiness, as I mentioned earlier, and being mindfulness, and how we promote healthy lifestyles. It's very important, with the digitalization, we always sleep late, and then we are very stressed, and then we do not do a lot of exercises, and we order things from outside rather than cooking, and most of them are not healthy foods. Our eating patterns and the sleep. Most importantly, now newer thinking is we have to sleep 6 to 8 hours. So this include naps also. We call it power nap. So it's very important. If we take our life expectancy, we say 72 years. So 1/3 of it. 1/3 of it we are. So 24 years we are sleeping. Rest of the 48 years we are awake, and out of that also we may be sort of use time for sleep and resting. So it shows how important is the sleep, and during the sleep we rejuvenate our body, we get rid of cancer cells, and the body is ready for the next day, next event. So these type of things we have to promote. We are focusing on these the diseases, preventive mechanisms. Our country, other people also study. We are stronger in it, but in the current context we have to change it, because how we even educate people. Sometimes we use mass media. Now we know social media platforms are very stronger, so we have to look at it, and throughout the programs we are changing. Under cardiology people talk about changing the lifestyle. Under pulmonology, when we talk about asthma, we change the lifestyle. And if you take another thing, the child is the father of the man, tracing the original lifelong health. So that's William Wordsworth talked about it, and child is the father of the man. So what happened in the childhood is very important, and it will influence the outcomes of chronic diseases, non-communicable diseases when we are older. So where the life starts, the first 9 months in the womb, very important, and then during the birth and initial period is very important. So in the womb the baby get programmed. Barker's phenomena, one of the top epidemiologists studied all the records, and he found out by looking at those records what happened in the beginning influenced the decades outcomes. These concepts are embedded in when we address these things, and we want to make sure we develop a connectivity with the people also. When it comes to our policy track, throughout the policy discussions, that the track 3, it is open for the media. So media is continually recording. What we want is to use these 3 days to develop connectivity. They can broadcast freely allowed. All the discussions are done in a sort of a very open way, respecting each other, openness, and then the panelists question will be given to the panelists, and they have to answer, and we allowed participants also to express their views. So this will bring a balance in like the outcomes. Those are very important. People can hear and listen those proceedings if it aired in all the TV channels. So we have informed, including MTV and other major TV stations. So I hope it's a good outcome in that. And for your question, yes, we are addressing very strongly preventive measures. You talked about accidents. Accidents, one of the key areas Sri Lanka Medical Association focused and played a huge advocacy role. Our GDP is around 84 billion of US dollars, and 3.7% of that GDP goes to manage direct and indirect outcomes of the road traffic accidents. So preventing road traffic accidents is very important. This costing is 3 times of the installment we get from the IMF. So health sector can play a bigger role in major crashes and influence in the looking after patients. But we had a high level committee last year. We developed a report and handed over to the secretary to the president, and when we did it, we came to know around 84 institutes in Sri Lanka, ministries, address this issue. So the compartmentalization is a problem. So we want to have a presidential task force or special task force to address these issues, and proper standardized surveillance system, and finally to have a empowered road safety commission, where they have the power to dictate terms to the institutes, and then surveillance, and if there are issues for them to sort it out. So we are going to develop we already develop a declaration during this Congress, we want to give it to the Transport Ministry and Ministry of Health, unveil it, and it's called Safe Roads, Safe Community. Our theme is Safe Roads.
So this isn't just the traffic being a nuisance and some drivers being negligent. This is a national issue. It's holding us back. It's draining our financial resources, and it is diverting the attention of our health sector. So there are so many aspects to it. So this is something which needs to be resolved, would you say?
Yes, this has to be resolved, because when we talk about prevention of road traffic accidents, the passengers are important, roads are important, vehicles are important, and then the drivers are important, and finally the governing institutes, especially police. So all these 5 components we have to address simultaneously. If you watch any TV channel, time to time, you can see how many people die because of road accidents. Please remember one thing: all the people who are listening, they also have their responsibility of how their ethical way of conducting themselves, driving in as disciplined drivers. So this has to be addressed urgently, and it's a sort of a very coordinated way to get the best possible outcomes. If you take simply if you take the road structure, certain roads comes under RDA, certain roads comes under provincial government, some comes under Pradeshi Sabha. How we are going to coordinate? All of us know if there are holes in the roads, and then they dig the roads to lay pipes, and after that the repairing work is very poor. So
this leads to a lot of accidents.
This leads to a lot of accidents. So very difficult to find a person who have not met an accident in most of the houses. So this has to be addressed very uniform way to get the best results, and our Sri Lanka Medical Association playing a huge role. This year we had a health walk. The theme was to prevention of road traffic accidents. We had a support of the Triforces, police, other United Nations related organizations, private health sector, government health sector, even the health minister participated, including the health secretary and the DG. And we had the walk from Goldface to Lipton Circus, and a lot of positive responses about it. So we want to play a huge role in this, and to make sure government listens to us and address it in a very sort of a strong way to get the best results.
Now, Dr. Asiri, policy is one of those areas which you're very interested in, and as Dr. Surantha said, we are now going to have a new national policy on health and wellness, which is wonderful, and it's lovely to see the country and the government moving to policy-based decision making rather than the ad hoc knee-jerk decision making we saw across all sectors for a couple of decades. Now, in the national policy on health and wellness, what should be the key areas? What should we be focusing on? What have we been missing?
Yeah, I think one of the key important aspect that we have to focus is the word wellness, which actually has come into the policy name, health and wellness. So because we have to focus more on being well, that is mainly on preventive aspects of health. So that is an area which the health ministry has to really focus on, and also in the current context, health is not an isolated business. I mean, only medical professionals cannot protect and preserve health or do any prevention. It is cross-cutting now. So like as Dr. Surantha said, when we are talking about prevention of road traffic injuries, it's not only the health that has to do. It has to be all the sectors. And if you are talking about child mental health, it is not only the health, it's the parents, the social, civil organizations, the education ministry has to play a huge role. And the preschools everywhere, they have to come and work with us. And also in many aspects, even NCDs, now having urban development authorities having places for people to exercise is something they have to do, so that the people can preserve their health. So health is never now, in the current context, as we are talking about globalization, health is also now becoming more and more interconnected with other disciplines and other ministries. So I think the policy will have to reflect that, the interconnectedness, the multi-sectoral collaboration quite a lot, and also bringing the people's voice into health policy. So it is not our own, the policymakers' business. People have to take part of that, and people have to take the ownership in the policy as well. So people has to bring out their voice, they have to be empowered. So, and also health professionals should have to learn how to empower the people rather than becoming just a service providing person. So health has a huge role in empowering communities and the societies and getting them on board and sort of giving them the leadership to take care of their own health. So that also is now becoming a part of the health professional. So the whole context is changing if we want to develop. We can't be in an isolated health ministry and work only with health people and improve only our doctors' knowledge. So that clearly reflects in our 138th anniversary International Medical Congress, because this time we have a separate track where we invite a lot of other ministries and other people and also civil society organizations, NGOs, to come and talk with us about the policy. So this is a clear kind of a change in our Sri Lanka Medical Association practice as well, where we had been mainly concerned earlier about our doctors' knowledge, attitudes and skills. Now we are kind of moving and to match the context, we are now moving and collaborating with a lot of other organizations, getting them involved in our own medical congress to come and work with us. So that is a huge change that we need now.
So it's participation that's required. In fact, I am reminded of when I last visited the UK, which was about 10 years ago. I was quite surprised to see so many gyms in a particular city. And when I asked some of my friends, they said, well, these are gyms which are free for the public and they are run by the city council. Yeah. And I was quite stunned, because here in Sri Lanka, you know, gym membership is not cheap. But then what I was told is, well, the city council and the government have realized that it's much better to pay for the gyms rather than have to pay for the medical side if these same people are going to have heart attacks and all these other issues. So participation, I think here you have the city council, which is the non-medical side, has basically come on board.
Yep.
So that's what we need in Sri Lanka as well.
Yeah, actually, I mean, it's very difficult to change the ways that we had been practiced to do certain things, especially in ministries. We are kind of linear. We are in this ministry, we do only this work, and this ministry, we do only this work.
But system change is what we all wanted.
Yeah, I think so. Sri Lanka Medical Association here plays a huge leadership role in bringing all these new changes and introducing that to our medical community as well, because we have to change our way of thinking, and we are providing the leadership from Sri Lanka Medical Association for that. So that clearly reflects in this year's medical congress. So that's why actually I think we come and talk to media also, because earlier we don't talk about our medical congresses to the media. We just have it and we have our doctors there and we just train them. But now we want people also to know that this change is needed and people are a part of this change.
Absolutely. And we are almost out of time, but Dr. Surantha, I'd like you to talk about one very important aspect of our society, which is our aging population and also our low fertility rate, both of which go hand in hand, and we have, I believe, one of the oldest populations in Asia. And what this actually means for, let's leave the economic impact aside, but for society, because now we will very soon have a huge proportion of our population which will be over 60. So how they need to take care of themselves and how they need to be more productive and to take care of themselves as well. So how do you address this issue?
Yeah, it's very important. I call it a double burden because a few years back, our birth per annum was 335,000. And now it has dropped per year. It has dropped to 242,000. That's dramatic.
Huge
one-third. So they are the future newborns, and they will be the future young population who will contribute to our economy. And so you can see drop in one-third is significant when we want to develop our economy. Where is the manpower? Where is the manpower? And if we just ask a simple question, if we don't have adequate, we have to look for neighboring countries. You know, is that the right way of looking at it? And this is why this is happening. The change of the way people look at it. Now, one of the recent studies have shown around females probably in universities, around 80% they are interested in sexual relationships. But around 37 young men are interested. So where is the focus now? Their focus is on economic difficulties. They want to leave the country, look for greener pastures. And so the problems what happened over the last decade, last 5 years especially, have become very significant. These problems, I think, started some time ago. So that is one thing. Other thing is 2042, our population above 60 years would be more than 25%. That is huge burden for a country, elderly population. So one aspect is the constraints on the stress on the health system to look after them, because their mobility will be low, and then their issues are different, probably loneliness, dementia, and they may be they can't affordability. And even other countries, the readiness compared with Sri Lanka. When I spoke to the president of Edinburgh, Dr. Andrew Elder, his specialty is in the UK acute medicine, acute care of the elderly. They have gone to that level. A&E specialization for elderly. But I think we are lagging behind addressing this issue. So we have to focus on how we equip our health sector, the knowledge, skills to handle this elderly population. Not only that, very difficult areas to be handled. Even it will be the same for a developed country. The loneliness, dementia, lack of support, because their children they may neglect them.
And
sometimes their children have migrated, gone to other countries. They are remaining here, and so it would be really challenging. Another question we have to answer is, can we get something from them to our country? Because certain people retired 63, 65, but when you look at our friends and some of our seniors, we still feel they can contribute. They don't have to remain in the same institute, but there are different ways the government can get help from them, and they can contribute rather than looking at them a burden. Whether we can look at them as an asset, we can get some contributions from them. So we have to address both the newborns, the lack of going down fertility rate, the other end ever growing elderly population. The issues would be cross-cutting, not only for confined to Ministry of Health. So we should not think in silos, as Asiri said. We have to think, look at it much more broader way. The responsibilities comes to politicians and the decision makers, top officials in different ministries. So they have to look at it more different way. We had one health policy forum at Sri Lanka Medical Association. We developed the policy document out of it. We have handed over because SLMA current times play a very pivotal role, especially when it comes to health sector. So this time I forgot to tell that our theme is equity in healthcare across life course. Life course means from young age to old age, and resilient pathways, how we mitigate all these issues and find solutions, and empowering populations, empowering people. That's our theme. I think it's timely and it's more effective. If we address it effectively, outcome will be also good.
Excellent, and I'm afraid we're out of time, but you can tune into our Newsfirst channels, and you will, especially during our nightly news, see some significant coverage of the 138th Anniversary International Medical Congress and SLMA Oration 2025 over the next few days. My thanks indeed to Dr. Surantha Perera, President of the Sri Lanka Medical Association, and Dr. Asiri Hewamalage, Honorary Secretary of the SLMA. Thank you very much for taking the time tonight, doctors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you to you at home for watching. Don't go away because the news is coming up next as always. Have a great evening.